So today, let's talk about Teresa Giudice, from Real Housewives of New Jersey. There's buzz about her saying co-stars are trying to push her out, and she's maybe eyeing another city. We'll unpack that. Okay, first, Teresa says other RHONJ ladies like Melissa Gorga, Dolores Catania, Margaret Josephs are trying to ice her out, basically exclude her. She thinks it's to keep her off next season, kind of complicating Bravo's casting decisions. Second, Teresa links this drama to a bigger reality TV thing, self-producing. Right? On her podcast, Turning the Tables, her guest Christian Grey Snow talked about when cast members try to, control the scenes too much, which kind of hurts the realness. Teresa seems to agree, actually calling Real Housewives of Salt Lake City amazing because it feels more genuine. And finally, Teresa hinted at maybe filming for Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Not full-time, but as a friend of Whitney Rose, like a recurring guest. She really supports Whitney and mentioned her other housewife pals like Alexia and Larsa, plus Chanel and Taylene from Dubai. She's got connections. So it seems Teresa's claims about being pushed out of RHONJ mixed with concerns about authenticity and maybe exploring new spots, possibly even Salt Lake City.
Next, we are going to talk about Katie Ginella's recent claims regarding the Real Housewives of Orange County, RHOC. So this RHOC star, she's speaking out about, a really tough season. She's talking alleged betrayal and even a pretty shocking plot she says was cooked up to get her off the show. We've got 3 key things to pull from what Katie Ginella's been saying in interviews. First, Katie claims there was this premeditated plan to take her down. She says a co-star actually told her that another castmate called the head of production, trying to arrange her exit. And get this, the idea was apparently for former housewife Gretchen Rossi to maybe take her spot. Katie kind of points the finger at Gina Kirschenheiter, mentioning things Gina apparently said like, "Don't worry, we have a plan," suggesting it was all planned. Second, Katie gets into that really controversial lie detector test, the polygraph, and the huge fallout from it. Remember, she failed all the questions? Yeah, that basically ended her friendships with Jennifer Pedranti and Gretchen Rossi right there. Katie finds it pretty suspicious, right, that only Emily Simpson, Gina Kirschenheiter, and Gretchen passed all their questions. She's suggesting Gina and Emily maybe set up the test specifically so she would fail. Her biggest regret? Not standing up for myself, she says, adding she never thought she'd be seen as this season's villain. Finally, Katie talks about where her relationships stand now and what she expects at the reunion. About Gina Kirschenheiter's comments on Asian designers. Katie basically says she's not looking to Gina for advice on being Asian, and she brushes off Gina saying she might leave if Katie returns. She also discusses the fallout with Jennifer Pedranti, who she says she dearly loved, but believes Jennifer just jumped ship when everyone ganged up on her. Oh, and she mentioned only Tamra Judge has even checked in since that polygraph drama. So Katie's expecting a lot of heat at the reunion. She hopes for big apologies and really wants to talk about the alleged setup. She pictures it being everyone on one side and then just me. She also hinted that maybe some castmates have biases they don't realize and need to do some learning because she's sometimes felt like an other. Okay, next, we're going to dive into 3 key things happening with this developing story around Erika Jayne, from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So, she's 54, right? And she just posted this new photo on Instagram. And wow, it really kicked off a huge online chat about how she looks, sparking all kinds of comparisons. First up, let's talk about the picture itself. It was from August 30th, showing her in this studded black corset, while fans pretty much immediately started saying she looked unrecognizable. You saw comments like, "Who is this?" and others just saying, "Unrecognizable. Enough filters." And yeah, that really fueled a lot of talk about heavy Photoshop, maybe even plastic surgery. Plus, that deeper fan worry, is this really her? Which is kind of central to reality TV, right? Second, this led to some pretty wild comparisons. Lots of people on Instagram instantly thought she looked like the singer Sabrina Carpenter, who's less than half her age. You had comments like, "Thought this was Sabrina Carpenter," all over the place. And hey, it's not the first time, remember? She's been accused before of kind of morphing into her castmate, Dorit Kemsley, who's 49. Okay, so finally, what does Erika herself say about her evolving look? Well, last August, she was on Watch What Happens Live and explained her weight loss over the last couple years was actually hormonally tied to menopause.
She literally said, I went to the doctor, I said, get it off. And she brought this up while also, being mindful of castmates who've talked about body image stuff. So yeah, from fans being totally confused to these pop star comparisons, Erika Jayne's look is definitely still a major talking point for Real Housewives followers.
Okay, next, we are going to talk about NeNe Leakes' recent accusations against Lisa Vanderpump. So here's the deal. NeNe Leakes, from Real Housewives of Atlanta, she's claiming Lisa Vanderpump, Vanderpump Rules and Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Lisa, kinda manipulated her out of a really great bar spot in West Hollywood. And then, guess what? Lisa apparently turns around and opens her own restaurant, Pump, right there, back in 2014. So first off, let's talk about how NeNe says this all went down. She was living nearby, working on shows like Glee, and spots this empty, kind of raggedy place on Santa Monica Boulevard, right near the Abbey. She thought, hey, great bar location. So she calls Lisa Vanderpump, asks for advice about the area, and Lisa apparently just shoots it down, tells her it's a piece of crap, way too expensive, but then bam, Lisa opens Pump in that exact spot. Wild, right? Second thing, NeNe talks about how this felt like straight up manipulation. She called it foul shit, claims Lisa never said sorry, just gave her these funny looks, like Lisa knew that NeNe knew what happened. For NeNe, this whole thing just really demonstrates those manipulative vibes people have talked about before, like accusations from Lisa's old Beverly Hills co-stars, who kind of suggested she played dirty behind the scenes. NeNe even hit her with that Vanderlump nickname.
Next, we are going to talk about the latest leaked spoilers for Season 17 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, detailing new cast dynamics and simmering drama as filming is well underway. First, the new season introduces fresh faces and welcomes back familiar ones. K. Michelle, the 43-year-old singer and former Love and Hip Hop star, is confirmed to join, already stirring things up with Angela Oakley and Drew Cedera. Restaurateur Pinky Cole, who's 37, also steps in as a married entrepreneur. Plus, Cynthia Bailey returns as a friend, and Tammy Rivera, another Love and Hip Hop alum, will make appearances. And yeah, the entire Season 16 cast is expected back. Second, ongoing tensions and new alliances are shaping up. That unresolved drama between Porsha Williams and Shamea Morton continues, with Kelly Farrell now apparently siding with Shamea. K. Michelle's presence has definitely fueled some conversation and minor conflicts already. Finally, the cast took their first trip to Dallas, hosted like K. Michelle, which fits her country music shift. There's also this Pass the Peach situation involving Kelly, K. Michelle, and Pinky basically fighting for that main spot. And get this, they filmed the grand opening of Kelly's new Nana's Chicken and Waffles, but Porsha notably skipped it. Ooh, the shade. So, from new cast members bringing fresh energy to old feuds and new rivalries, Season 17 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta promises plenty of dramatic twists and turns.
Next, we are going to talk about the latest drama from the Vanderpump Rules crew. Yeah, we're looking at a possible feud brewing between Scheana, Shay, and Lala Kent. And also Tom Schwartz's pretty funny jab at those dating rumors. Okay, first up, this rumored fallout between Scheana, Shay, and Lala Kent. So Lala Kent just had her 35th birthday on September 2nd, right? Well, Scheana, who's 40, didn't post anything for her birthday. Not a peep. And this comes right after Scheana called Lala out on her podcast. She was kind of bummed, saying Lala only shared one tagged post about her new book, My Good Side. So naturally, the Bravo Investigator account pointed this out, and fans immediately thought, okay, Scheana's snubbing her birthday as payback. But get this, a lot of fans actually think this whole feud thing is totally staged. They're saying Scheana and Lala might be cooking this up to get more buzz, maybe lock in full-time spots, or just get more screen time on The Valley's next season, which is filming now. Some even think Lala might team up with Jenna Caparna for Season 3. All right, second thing, let's talk about Tom Schwartz, who's 42 now. He had a hilarious response to those dating rumors with Lala Kent. For Lala's birthday, Tom posted on his Instagram story calling her my imaginary internet girlfriend. So yeah, clearly poking fun at all that romance talk that's been swirling for months, because of their chemistry. Now, Lala and Tom have talked about this stuff before on their podcasts. On Lala's show, Give Them Lala, she basically told Tom she'd be way too high-strung and intense for him. She even reminded him she once said, "I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast." Then, on Dom's podcast Detox Retalks, Tom jokingly said the internet rumors were true, and Lala even admitted she's had some dreams about him since they first talked about it. Interesting. So yeah, these events really illustrate the kind of strategic drama and, playful stuff going on with the Vanderpump cast, especially with the Valley getting ready for its new season.
Next, we are going to talk about Emily Simpson's candid thoughts on, well, a pretty uncomfortable Real Housewives of Orange County Season 19 finale and, her direct critique of Gretchen Rossi's style. So Emily Simpson recently spilled some tea about what's coming up on the show, and she didn't hold back on Gretchen Rossi, who's back as a friend of the cast after being gone since, Season 8. First, Emily, who's 49, basically said the Season 19 finale was just awkward. Yeah, awkward and uncomfortable. She mentioned being kinda lost for words, describing it all as very gray, convoluted, and confusing. Apparently, it really fractured the group. Now, she says it doesn't mean friendships are totally over, but it sounds like everyone was left feeling pretty mixed up about where they stand. She thinks we probably won't get real answers until the reunion. Second, Emily got real about Gretchen Rossi, who's 46. Okay, so she did compliment Gretchen's blonde hair, saying it looked healthy, no roots, but then she jokingly called it a helmet, because, it doesn't move. And then she kind of poked fun at Gretchen's fashion choices. One outfit described as very Little House on the Prairie during an argument. Another, a mix of Hamburglar and Sherlock Holmes. Emily did say she and Gretchen often joke about this stuff, so it sounds like it's mostly in good fun. So yeah, Emily Simpson's insights definitely illuminate what sounds like a dramatic RHOC finale and give us her very pointed but playful take on Gretchen Rossi.